I mentioned putting a down payment the other day, and that's the idea that, you know, whatever it is that you are after, you kind of put this down payment down. It's not an actual payment as such. It could be, it's a gesture, isn't it, that of your intention of what you want to do. You might buy, I don't know, a map, let's say, of the area that you want to move to, or you might buy a spade for digging it up the land. It could be anything. Somebody was telling me that they buried some gold, a little tiny gold sovereign somewhere, with the intention that that would help them create what was going forward. And I thought it was such a good, clever idea, really, even if it's only just based on helping you keep your dreams and your ideas going. I thought that was a great idea. So on that note, I wanted to go and have a look in the in my tatty old shed, which I've had here. At one time this was a studio, and I used to run something called the Vogue Show, which wasn't the channel that I do with the pipe smoking that I'm doing sort of at the moment, but I used to do this podcast in here every day, 30 minutes, madcap podcast, entertainment. It was back from my entertainment days. But now, have a look, it is the old studio's become a shed of stuff, just and it's falling. You probably can't hear me very well, but it's falling to bits. And in here I thought, as a sort of a down payment, or getting things ready for a piece of land when one's got it, and Julia and I are very serious about this now. I'm going to come around here so there's a bit more light coming in, and finding, you know, effectively what would be the Biggleswick farm. I've got here, I've just been looking at a selection of gardening equipment, because we're going to need to be able to till the soil. So I've got a hoe, and I've just been digging around. These were my dad's old gardening shears, and if you can see those. And then there's a knackered old spade or shovel. There's a fork. There's another type of hoe, different type of hoe here for the vegetable patch. There's a gardening fork and all sorts of bits and pieces. And in some of our very old videos, we had a device which we used a few times for different things, which was again, you won't be able to see it terribly well because I've got all sorts of things in the way, but this box-like thing, is well, we've had it as an ice cream cellar in a video at some point, and we also had it when we did the tractor festival in Kent some years ago now, where we were doing live broadcasts from it, and it was effectively a little thing with a laptop on it and battery and cups of tea and coffee in it, cameras, and it was on wheels, and we used to cart it about, but you can't really see it terribly well because it's buried under all this. And I've got all these old bags where my logs come in. See these bags. But I've also got, we did this thing where we had a tin bath and we sent it down a hill on wheels. Became a sort of an old-fashioned go-kart, and I've still got this part of it, and these have got pneumatic wheels, you see. So I was thinking, when we find the right place, we may have to buy a tractor, or we may have to buy something anyway, but we need a little cart to put what's the word, compost and soil, pots, plants. We may be planting some trees to make a hedge or something, who knows. And then this comes together with a box unit so that you could pull it over the ground. I did think about wheelbarrow, but wheelbarrow's a bit small. But if you've got something that's, say, I don't know, about 1 metre square, maybe a bit bigger, I mean, you can probably buy these sort of things, but I thought, well, I've got all this stuff. I've just got this stuff hanging about, buried. and bits of tools. You know, another tool for if we've got trees, we can lop off boughs that are in the way or need to come down. Don't want to damage trees unnecessarily, of course. And bits and bobs, you know. I can't really take you much further into here, but there's a pallet over the back there, and we'd need some pallets, I suppose, to make the compost in a big square, you know, area. I've seen people do that, and we'd start to, you know, learn the techniques that we need. And I think this is where the channel is going to develop, because I don't want to make any more stuff which is like frightening people and moaning and groaning anymore and going down the rabbit holes and sort of talking about all these terrible things. I actually just want to be doing the solution, and that's growing our own food, getting back to nature, connecting with trees and things, having fruit trees and all of that. And we want to clearly share our journey with our audience, for those that are interested. So there will probably be a fall off of people who just, you know, continually want to be scared and frightened by the events and live in fear. Well, we don't want to live in fear. We've gone down that journey and it's time to move on. And I think that's what putting a down payment is to say no more of sitting around talking about it. We've got to actually do it. And I've needed the time to write the book, the Biggleswick book. I've needed to go down all these different journeys to meet different people on different farms and different disciplines and things. And now we're going to do it ourselves and get on with it. We just got to, you know, find the right place, and we're looking. But it will happen. Just moving myself around. Another thing I've got here is, I actually need to use it on my chimney really, is one of these chimney sweeps brush, which is a bit knackered. Give the chimney a sweep, because it would be nice wherever we have, if we built our own little place, we'd have a wood burning stove and clean the chimney. And I don't know if I can shut this door very easily, but I wanted to show you, hang on, I'm going to move you around a bit, move these old boxes, because in, I think it was either 1999 or the year 2000, we made, I was trying to get into children's television, and we did, I mean, I had my children's television in the mid-90s, snug and cozy. It showed me how awful television people are, and I wouldn't want to go back into television again, other than our own stuff where we can be more wholesome. And down here, let's see if I can show you down here this way, between all of this, there's, can you see that? There's an old sign down there, which, there we go, I can get it out. It says on it, we got this sign written, the Dimwits. That was a children's television idea that I wrote some years ago, which was just a bit of fun. We were trying to get another series, but it didn't actually go, but I got that. And here, part of that was, let's get this so you can see it. The Biggleswick rubbish yard, which is pretty much what my shed is at the moment. It is an absolute rubbish dump. But these old signs, they were used in there. But Biggleswick, you can see, so that dates back to 1999, ages ago, the old Biggleswick idea. And now, of course, it's going to be a book coming to a place near you where you'll be able to purchase it. And it's not the children's TV series idea anymore, it's the town that wouldn't comply. So I hope once that's available, you'll be able to go and have a look. But yes, so I'm sorting out all the bits and pieces here to start thinking about our land and moving on to that land and the sort of place that we want and the sort of things that we might do. And that again is about sending those intentions out and moving on. So you will see that the channel is going to change its shape in time, and I may do fewer videos over the next few weeks, but don't think that that's because I'm not interested in it. It's just, I think that the days of scaring people and moaning, as I say, is over, and it is time now, Julia and I, to really get on with it. And so that's what we're doing. So thank you for watching, and I will catch up with you next time. Bye for now.